So let's get on to today's subject, which is about lead walking. Now, we've already done some things that are going to help. Okay, so we've already done doorway exercises. We're getting the puppy out of the doorway nice and calm. We've done lots of cue seeking. Hi there, Kubi. Thank you for joining. We've already done lots of cue seeking as well, so we've encouraged the dog to be looking at us. So there's a key period, remember, that 8 to 12 weeks where we're really trying to build a relationship with the puppy, build up all our tools that we can use outside to help the dog environmentally. Okay, so lots of different handling things. We've got puppy used to the harness, so all those things are hopefully going well because we've done all that training before they're allowed out. So there is a lot to do in that 8 to 12 week period. Okay, I always use, if you think about it from the puppy's point of view, they're going outside there, and I think I've said this before, if I teleported you to a new planet, okay, and there was all these different beings and different sights and sounds and surfaces, okay, you're not going to be able to concentrate on walking by my side, no matter how much training we've put into it, okay, and remember, puppies have a very short attention span. So don't expect your puppies to walk right by your side. They're going to go all over the place on the lead. Okay, the most important things in your early walking, okay, is that you have a long lead. Okay, I tend to go for a 2 meter. Okay, I'm not going to walk my puppy along a road with traffic yet. Okay, the early experiences are key. I'm going to work on traffic maybe in car parks like Tesco's or somewhere like that where I've got slow moving cars. Okay, so I'm not going to leave from my house, and I'm certainly not going to walk down any kind of, roads where there's fast traffic. So I'm going to take them to ideal places. And I would encourage you to go and check out a lot of your local places and just how busy they are before you kind of take a puppy there. So we've got about a 2 meter lead, okay? The one that I recommend is on my recommended equipment list on the website. And the reason we've got a 2 meter lead is a lot of lead lengths at the minute, pets at home, are about this long. Okay, you are going to teach your puppy to pull on the lead straight away because they've got no room for movement. Okay, so get yourself a lead that enables the puppy to be able to move around. So that's number one. You need a longer lead, 2 meters at least. Okay, you need to walk slowly. Think when you're walking your puppy like you're holding a 2-year-old's hand. When you hold a 2-year-old's hand, you adjust your speed for the child. Okay, and you need to do that for your puppy. You want a history of your dog walking on the lead, ideally calmly. There'll be lots of things in the environment which will obviously have an impact on that. Now, most of the time when a puppy is pulling on the lead, this is when their emotions are obviously not neutral. They've either gone whoop, excited or worried, okay? Because there's lots of new things for them to see. So we're going to walk slowly. That enables you to be able to read the emotional state of your dog, look at the body language, and see what tools and techniques that you need to put in place in certain situations. Okay, I'm not going to take the puppy when they're on their own 4 paws in their early walks to somewhere where they're going to see, different triggers after triggers after triggers after triggers. So people, and then there's a child, then there's this. So at the minute, going out at the weekend, I find really difficult because there's lots of people about, and there's one thing after another for the puppy, which can be quite overwhelming for them. So I like to take them where I'm going to see the odd person, I'm going to see the odd dog, and I'm going to hear the odd noise, but I don't want too much. I'm trying to build up good experiences. Okay, remember, distance is your friend. Okay, so if you're walking your puppy really slowly, you're allowing them to sniff as much as they want to sniff. Remember, sniffing has a calming effect and it gives them a little bit of a job to do. So sometimes you might see them look at that person and immediately go sniffing. Okay, and that's their way of kind of controlling their kind of emotions and giving themselves a job. Okay, so you're walking really slowly, you're allowing the puppy just to sniff and stroll. Okay, if you're doing sniffing and strolling, you should find that the puppy's not really pulling on the end of the lead. Okay, if they are pulling on the end of the lead or they get to the end of the lead, try and rewind and say what's just happened in the environment, what caused that. It can be simple things like a leaf blew and it's caught their attention and they're going to chase it. Okay, those kind of things are going to happen. But also if there's a kind of bang in the background or there's other things in the background, potentially the puppy's going to pull because it can be a little bit worried. Okay, now on the online course, and I haven't put it into the go lives, I have a safety position for my puppy. Okay, and I adopt that position more or less when different things are coming in the environment. Okay, so that I'm with the puppy to kind of help them. I also stop a lot on my walks and try and engage the puppy. You know, does my kissy nights work going down the road, and the other tools that I've developed. Okay, so there's 5 or 6 tools that I'm going to be working on as I'm kind of walking down the road with puppy to make sure they're working in different environments. Okay, remember they don't generalize easily. So when we talked about Pavlov, okay, and the dogs in the laboratory, okay, and them salivating, if we'd have put them in a pen in the middle of the field and rang exactly the same bell, they wouldn't have all salivated. So they're not going to change that to a different environment. So remember, all of your training needs taking into each new environment, but just at a point where the dog is able to engage. If there was too much going on and the puppy needed to watch that, I would allow them to watch. I'm not going to interfere in that process. Okay, so I'm going to give them those choices. When it's nice and quiet, I'm going to do some engagement with the puppy. So if the puppy was at the end of the lead and I've done my hand target training, it might be that they're pulling up, you know, as soon as they pull, I tend to stop. Okay, I'm rewinding. Was there a reason for that? Okay, maybe the puppy then looks back at me and I might go into doing a little bit of training like some hand touches. Okay. Also, you know, your puppy will follow you, and you know, at 12 weeks when they're first going out, if you had them off a lead, which I don't recommend, only because you don't know what's going to turn up and what noises are going to go. And to be honest, if you know, if they heard a loud bang at that point, are they going to run to you for safety? Is your relationship already like that, or are they just going to run? Okay, so I will always have mine on a lead for safety. They're not really going to go further than about 2 meters away from you anyway, and you've got a 2 meter lead. So you're trying to find out, you know, what are their sensitivities? What do they feel about all these things in the environment? Okay, and you're trying to help shape their emotions with things in the environment. So basically, early stages of lead training, I am just walking really slowly. I have a 2 meter lead. I'm constantly stopping and doing some engagement bits with my puppy. Now, alongside that, I do an exercise which is all in the online course, which would be easier to do if we're in an outdoor environment. I do a lot of kind of joining me or walking by my side through choice, okay, and marking and reinforcing them for being side on to me. If you think of a lot of the training you've done up until now, you've reinforced the dog and fed the dog in this kind of zone in relation to your body. So guess where the puppy wants to be, okay? As yet, you might not have done any side-on reinforcement, so the puppy's not going to choose to be there. So from 8 weeks old, I do an exercise where I wander around my garden. I do a lot of side-on reinforcement. And as I say, you can see the kind of full rundown of that and how I build it up. And I also get them used to trailing leads on the floor. Because if I've got a 2 meter light lead, eventually, once I've got some of my games going, I've got that engagement outside and I've got some understanding of the dog's confidence level around different environmental situations, I can drop that lead on the floor and allow them a little bit of freedom, knowing that I've got the safety of being able to pick the lead up. Okay, so I get them used to that at a young age with that lead trailing, okay, because some puppies are going to be worried about this lead following them. Okay, so I'm going to do that as an exercise in the garden. I am going to build up what I'm working on my dog for the future. Once it's environmentally sound, I do want to build up a verbal cue. I use with me and near me. Okay, so I teach it on both sides for balance, and I teach them to swap sides behind me. I know my dog is not going to be ready to do that outside until they're environmentally sound, but I will start building it up. Okay, so my garden exercise allows me to start adding verbal cues onto these things on the move. And I also work on some static exercises that we're gonna look at today. So we're building up for the future. Okay, I walk my puppies, I haven't mentioned I do walk them in a harness, and that's to spread the load. You know, there will be those times when they chase that leaf and they've pulled. I don't want that pressure around their neck because their neck's really sensitive. Although they're always wearing a collar outside for me to do some collar work. Okay, eventually I am going to teach them a verbal cue with me because that's handy, particularly later on as adult dogs. You know, if I can see another dog is on the lead, I will always honour that and I will not allow my dogs to go over to it. Okay, So if I did see a dog on the lead, it could be on the lead just because it's had surgery, okay? It doesn't need a lively dog running over to it. So I would call my dogs back, and if I've got all 4 dogs with me, I don't want to put all 4 dogs on a lead, but I do want them knowing with me and be able to walk with me sensibly past that dog until it's a sensible point to be able to release them to run off again. So it's useful to have that word, I think, for when they're off lead. It's also useful to get past distractions. What I will do at a later date is also teach them collar sensitivity, and what I mean by that is going with the pressure of the collar. So if they feel that pressure on the collar, they go into the pressure rather than pull against the pressure, okay? And that's going to take me months and months of work to build up. So eventually I would walk my dogs on the collar. I wouldn't need the harness because now they've got collar sensitivity, so they're not going to pull in the collar. Okay, and then I can allow them off because I have a good recall. So this is building up over the kind of next year. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the static exercises that you can do to help your dog come round into position or get some kind of side-on reinforcement. And the first exercise we're going to look at is trying to turn cue seeking side on. So this is something that I haven't done with Mex. So you'll be seeing her doing it for the first time. So let's have a little look. I think she's finished her snuffle mat. She loves her snuffle mat now from all these go lives. She gets a bit obsessed by it at 12 o'clock, don't you? Hey? Right, baby, let's get the toy out of the way. Okay, so hopefully you need to see Mex, not my head, so that's good. So, should we do some training? Yeah? Yep. Okay, I'm just going to, again, feed her in that stand. Okay, now she's going to look at me. I'm going to mark her, yep, and feed side on. Okay. Yep. Okay, now once she's side on, I'm still looking, even though I've got food in this kind of left hand, I'm still looking for her not to look at my hand, but to look at me. Yep, you're very relaxed today, darling, aren't you? You're a good girl. Yep. Good. Nice one. Good girly. Okay, go get that. Okay, so we're going to take it from cue seeking in the front again. Mark her for looking at me. Yep. Turn it side on to feed. Okay, now can you carry on looking at me and stay in that position? Just using a little noise there to encourage her to look up. Yep. I think she thinks her mum is very calm during these sessions. Usually when I'm doing a training session, obviously it's easier to go from one thing to another. She's actually learned over the 3 weeks to be this lovely calm puppy when we're doing go lives, haven't you? Yep. Okay, turn it side on and feed. Obviously you can do this both sides. Let's have a look at the other side. So she looks at me. Yep. Okay, feed her that side. Okay, so we're just getting some history that this side-on position is a good position. Okay, so that's one exercise that you can do, and obviously we can take that into movement as well. And the other exercise I tend to do is same as we did with the lure hand, the kind of follow the finger. Okay, now I stand with I have the dog in front of me. She's going to cue seek, hopefully. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to do follow the finger out away from me, round. Yep. Feed side on in that bowl hand. See which way the bowl hit is. Let me face the camera. Okay, so I can add more food to that bowl. Okay, now you can see she doesn't actually try and get any food out of my source food hand usually. But because I'm taking it out of context and doing it somewhere else, I just notice that she's grabbed that. She's never been trained this before. So that's something that I obviously need to do with her, is to be able to feel that bowl hand. Okay, so we're going to bring her around again. Right out away from me, turn, come round. Yep. Okay, and I can add to the bowl. Add to the bowl. Doesn't make it easy that Mummy's using steak mint. The steak, actually steak cooked in the slow cooker we've got today, and it's all kind of shredding, isn't it? Good. Okay, so let's have a look at that again. So lower hand, follow the finger, right the way round. Yep. Feed in the bowl this way round. Okay, if I feed in the bowl that way round, look what happens to the bum. Okay, it comes out. So we're going to feed in the bowl with the fingers pointing towards us. Yep, good girl. Good. Follow the finger, right round. Yep. Good, baby. That was clever. Back to cue seeking. Yep. Okay, and the same exercise on the right side. Remember, we're going to have different words for different sides so they know which side they're going. Yep. Good, baby. That was clever. That was clever. Yep. Nice. Good. Yep. Good. A little bit of movement in there. Okay. Yep. Good. Nice. Good. Bring a right round behind. Yep. Good. Okay, we can do a little bit of movement following that bowl. Yep. Good. Excellent. Well done, baby. Whoosh. Mummy's got really dirty hands now, hasn't she? Okay, so there's two exercises that I would, well done, baby. Whoosh. There's two exercises I would build up, okay? They're static exercises, but really that's about teaching the dog to come round into the position from in front of me. As time develops, I will begin to put that on a verbal cue, and I'll also begin to kind of shape the movement by just using my body so I can take out the kind of lure hand in that. And it takes probably a couple of weeks to get it onto verbal cue just from a static exercise like that, to do that with me and the near me. Okay, and then I will begin to change the context of it. You know, my dogs may be running back towards me when I've asked them to walk with them. So doing a little food throw out and then coming back in towards me. Are you looking for more food, darling? You have your snuffle mat. So taking it out of context, taking it into real life situations, what you're expecting your dog to do, so it's not just a kind of learnt in one way. Let me fill this up for you, baby. There you go. There we go, good girl. Okay, so hopefully that's been useful. Quick summary: 2 meter lead, walk really slowly, get the foundation of walking with your dog on the lead. Okay, watch what's happening. Do not carry on walking if your dog is pulling on the lead. Okay, they could be a little bit anxious. Okay, so you've got to employ some of your tools and techniques that you've taught, hopefully, okay, to try and help them, you know, get their emotions back into a kind of better place. Okay, if they are pulling and you continue to walk forward to something that they want to get to, then essentially you're positively reinforcing kind of pulling on the lead, and that will happen more. So just stop. Help puppy with their emotions, do some little things like hand touch games, okay, and then mooch on a bit. Be careful the environment you're taking them to, build it up gradually, okay. Little exercises that you can do at home, okay, to start getting that onto a verbal cue over time. But I wouldn't be expecting my dog to walk right by my side on the lead at any young age whatsoever. What I'm trying to do is not build up any kind of bad history with that. Okay, hopefully that's helped you. We will be announcing, I think, some exciting news on Monday. Okay, and also we have decided to do an extended go live. We're going to do a half-an-hour go live. I'm very aware from kind of feedback that I've been getting that we've told you how to do all these individual little bits, but our extended go live is going to be looking at how we put a training session together. So what one of my training sessions would look like with my puppy. Okay, thank you for joining me, and I will see you again for the question and answer session tomorrow.